Good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman. Didn't mean to be in your face then. I would just like to open today and welcome you all to this weekly chat that I have with you all and feel into your heart presence. I'm going to post a comment and I'm going to read that comment as I just posted it on my Facebook page and felt that it really was a wonderful message for all of us as we continue on our journey of consciously expanding and becoming who we truly are. And trying to do the best we can with moving through these intense energies that Mother Earth is presenting to us, our star families are presenting to us, and we are moving through as beings who have a genetic history of pain and suffering and trying to release that. We're really working on many different levels and leads me to my topic of from overwhelmed to stillness, which has been triggered by a lot of what I've seen happening in the world, not only this week, but throughout this whole year, as a matter of fact. So let me just read that on the column. Good morning. I'm not too sure if I can see who's appearing or not. It doesn't appear to be anybody in my sidebar, so that's okay. Technology, as we all know, has somehow has a mind of its own. And this is part of the problem, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I just want to read this. When you commit yourself to living love, you feel at peace with yourself because you are at harmony with the flow of life. Viewing life from the highest perspective, you feel confident and secure. You realize that no matter how things may appear, you are loved and protected. You know you are one with God, and you bring your peace with you wherever you go. You're not looking for love, but for opportunities to love. And that was written by Susan L. Taylor. I don't know who she is or what she does, but it was a very profound statement. And I collect these little statements and poems to help me work through being overwhelmed. So this is what we're doing. We're all becoming overwhelmed at some level of our beingness. And there was a water message that I read earlier this week. There was a simple statement, and being a water guardian, I'm always looking for water. Things when it relates to water, it really touches me. Thank you for all the little bubbles. I don't know who you are, but I love you. And this quote was when I was looking up the definition of overwhelmed. How do we define overwhelmed? And the quote was, the water flowed through to overwhelm the whole dam and the village beneath. And I said, wow, that's powerful. When you think about a dam breaking or breaching, on that water spilling over, and it just floods everything. And I says, what a perfect analogy for what we feel when we're overwhelmed. And it doesn't matter what the last thing was that triggered that deep sense of overwhelming. It's every molecule of water that has been building up and building up and building up until it released. And that releasing is that sense of being overwhelmed. I can't do this anymore. This is crazy. Take me out. Come on, stop. End the world. Stop the insanity. These are the emotional processes that we go through in the mind. And really it is a result of our own unawareness and poor choices. And they've actually buried us and given us too much energy to process at one time. And so in that case, we really start to feel defeated. And so this is what I realized in trying to understand the word overwhelm. And so it's over. This comes over us. It embodies us. So we, the beautiful souls and beings of light that we are now buried deep in this energy field that we just don't seem to know how to break through. And in that moment, we're given choices, and we can choose to just keep on paddling, struggling, and to overcome that. And we go into battle mode. We want to fight that. Or we can not resist, and we can come to a place of stillness. And this is what I realize is that in most of our religious teachings and most of our esoteric teachings, all talk about this stillness. And for us as humans, stillness seems to be the antithesis of what we want to do something. We want to be active. It's very hard for us to be still, especially when so much we feel so much has to be done. So it's a pressure that manifests as physical, emotional, or just random energy of unknown origin. And this is what happens. It's energy. We're working with energy. And in that process, we as the masters, as the sovereign beings, have power over that. We're not told that. We're told, oh, go take this pill and go see this doctor and go do this, and you need a counselor, and they're all wonderful tools. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing anything. But you and I as individuals have the power within us to overcome any energetic emotion distress. Okay? We have that power. Granted, sometimes we need facilitators. Sometimes we need just a friend. Sometimes we need a distraction. And so I encourage everybody to seek those. One that came up last night, we were talking, as I do Tai Chi, and was Qigong. And when you do Qigong exercises, which a lot of times, you come into that place of stillness and just feel the energy and work with the energy. And it gives you a sense of your own power. You realize that this energy is malleable. You can work with it, you can move it, you can send it. Those of you who do Reiki or other modalities know and understand that this energy is something that's interactive. It's not something that's designed to just overwhelm you. When we're overwhelmed, what's happened is we've lost the faith in ourselves. We've lost faith in ourselves to recognize who we truly are. We're really these truly amazing beings. And we've listened to something that keeps telling us, no, you can't, blah, 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 blah. So what is that? You know where I'm going to go with this. This is your ego mind. This is the mind that we were given in these physical bodies to assist us in surviving, in co-creating, into reacting with each other and interacting with each other. And it's the mind is a beautiful thing. But when it's out of control, it's the most dangerous tool on the face of the earth. There is no greater weapon. Truly, there's no greater weapon of harm and destruction than a mind that's out of control. Okay? We can have all the guns in the world. We can have all the nuclear warheads in the world. We can have all of these things of destruction. By themselves, they do nothing. They have potential. But that one mind, one single mind that is out of control and has access to that, is where the danger is. So this is what we've done to ourselves. We take that mind, and because we're not consciously aware all the time when we're in this energy field, we just feel the energy and the mind becomes overwhelmed. It isn't us that gets overwhelmed. It's this computer. And so last night as I wrote these things down, I a lot of things, many know that I just sit and I write and the messages come, and they're messages for me as well as for everyone else. But the analogy came about what's going on in the world today with the internet. And it was an interesting analogy. We look at the internet, and what is the internet? It's a means of communication. It's a means of gathering, collecting information, okay, from all different sources, and then organizing it, storing it, and then, I don't want to use the word regurgitating, but my guide says regurgitating it, and bringing it forth for others to share with others, just as I'm doing right now with you. And when it's in alignment with the highest good of all, then there's no problem. But when that computer or that 3G, what was it? The mobile information is on 3G, and when that got too dense, we moved to 4G, which means it can move faster. We can move more stuff, and we can move it faster. Now we're stepping into 5G. And 5G is like, oh, wow, everybody's going to have access to everything, blah, blah, blah. It's the greatest thing in the world. Well, yes and no. So too our brain, because of the energies of the earth shifting, because of the evolution of the planet, the evolution of our galaxy, all of these energies are now feeding this higher frequency of light information. And we're able to receive communication and information from our guides, from our higher self, from the internet, from each other, at such a rate of speed that it overwhelms the human mind. It's really basic. It's not some woo-woo science. I mean, somebody could prove it. I'm not a scientist. What happens is when our mind becomes overwhelmed with data, it comes in too fast, too much, we go overload. It starts to break down. And so what happens is part of a sentence comes in with part of a paragraph that is about cooking, and it gets all confused. It's mixed up. We're trying to do 14 tasks just like we do on the computer, trying to do a blog, answer Facebook messages, emails, and you wonder why you're overwhelmed? Well, As we're overwhelmed by technology, and we can see that plainly in technology, how that has created a sense of overwhelming, so too we, on this physical level, it becomes the viewmaster that should show us this is how we're overwhelmed. We're receiving too much information in any one given point for the old style human brain and mind to function properly. So what do we do? What do we do with that? It's hard to discern exactly what to do. But the key is to step out of it, to step away from it. Just like we do with the computer. Everything's going haywire. What do? Shut it down, walk away. The analogy is perfect. When we are overwhelmed emotionally, energy in motion, we have too much energy in motion, we need to find a quiet space to just come into stillness. And the stillness that we're seeking is the stillness that is really our divine presence. It's who we are without any external stimulation. It's our heart. It dwells within our heart. So we're technically dropping from our mind, the head mind, into the heart mind. And as we do this, we come back to love. And love is the frequency that holds everything together. It's when the one molecule, one drop of water hits the pond and you see it ripple. There's a moment where that drop of water hesitates. And the body of water receives it. It welcomes it. It's like welcoming itself back home. It recognizes itself in that drop of water and invites it to come home and says, welcome home. Welcome home, my child. This is who we are in our hearts. When we open our hearts to receive ourselves, it isn't so much about loving others. Loving others is just a natural reflection of loving ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, how do you expect us to love each other? It's really, really simple. Each one of you deserves to be loved. I know your life paths. I know my own life paths. Have not promoted that as a very prominent factor. We've been told to be quiet. We've been told, given instructions of what to do, what not to do, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, all logged into the brain, all data in the brain, collected, repeated, and reiterated over and over and over again. I don't like to use like a mantra because mantras are for the good, but these are sort of negative mantras that we've received through our living experience that says you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, etc., etc. They're all been part of somebody else's fear system. And so we have adapted ourselves to the point where when we become overwhelmed, when the energetic overload is so great, we start to call up the mind goes on search. It goes on search and it spits all of this stuff out. All of this stuff out. And what happens is eventually we just become depressed. We become angry. We want to strike out at something. This is what it causes. So again, the key is when we start to find ourselves being overwhelmed in whatever manner or by whatever is triggering us, take that as a gift. Take that as a gift that to remind us that we need to come back home to our hearts. Because we cannot solve that problem from within the problem. What has to happen, and you'll hear psychologists, you'll hear co-creators all talk about this. We have to come into a field of resonance, and that's stillness. And that stillness, that resonance is our heart resonance. When we look at that, we just say it's similar to the water flowing in nature, and how water always works itself out. Whatever is the problem with the water has a way of keeping flowing and working its way out of situations, or finding the wholeness where it gathers. A gathering. It's a gathering of self. It's very, when you observe water, it's very much how we as water beings should be living our lives. It's the greatest teacher you can ever have. Look at the water in all its forms and ask what it has to teach you. And, you know, I'm going to talk about water for days, but I'm not going to do that today. I just want you to again, this part of stillness is return back to nature. Watch the water flow. Get in touch with that water, because that's the water that's flowing in us. The water that flows through the trees, that comes up from the ground. Nothing else does that in nature. Trees are amazing. They defy gravity. They draw the water up, and then they exchange it. They transmute it and send it back out. And we take it in, and then we let it out. And this process is a whole and complete harmonic, there's a name for it, it's not coming to me, but sustainable environment. And it does it without anybody's brain. It did it long before there were brains. And the message is, this is how the brain should work with the heart, in resonance, as a team, as together, wholeness, co-creating. We talk about co-creating, and I want to co-create with you, and I'm on different groups, and I love the co-creation of when you work with another artist or another poet or whatever, and you feed each other your energy. And I'm going to read a beautiful reading I got from a woman who painted live, this energy painting. I received a message, and I sent it to her as a gift, because it's just powerful to sit in the presence of somebody creating. This comes from the heart, not from the head. And this is why we need to get back into the heart, the stillness of the heart. So, the heart is a unified field of resonance. And within that heart, there is consciousness. It's hard for some people to understand that, but within the heart, there is a field of consciousness which is pure, it's divine, and it's connected to all other fields of consciousness. And there are more than one field of consciousness, and we're becoming far more aware of that. And as you can see in the world where people are tapping into their spiritual self and their galactic self and their elemental self, there seems to be this communication with this consciousness. This is the 5G of humanity. We're moving into 5G, just as the internet and all of the data mining, etc., is moving into 5G. The difference is that has no feeling. That has no, it's a mechanical, artificial process. We are both biological, chemical, and energetic, so it affects us differently. And this is what we're processing, is this shifting of becoming more consciously aware of everything around us and receiving information, and it's part of the overload. But if we drop into the heart and find the place of stillness, we can then tap into what is beneficial information and what is beneficial energy, that is calming, that is stabilizing, that's grounding. We've overkilled the word grounding. You can't say it enough to anybody. Ground, 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 ground. This is what Tai Chi does. This is what Qigong does. This is what a lot of practices, even yoga, grounds you. There are a lot of physical activities where we're taking the body and reconnecting the energy to the energy of Mother Earth. And as she changes and shifts and changes, it goes through her processes, as we're seeing playing out now in Hawaii. And we're seeing in sinkholes around the world, and we're seeing in weather patterns around the world. All of this is her evolving, just as we are. But we're not, if we try to evolve separately from Mother Earth, all we're going to do is keep meeting with being overwhelmed. Come back to the whole. Be the drop of water that hits the pond. Mother Earth will take you back. She will receive you into her heart. Your heart and her heart will be one. And in that moment, you will find stillness. A deep breath. Just feel into the presence of who you are, the true self, the divine, amazing being you are, just as Mother Earth is. Just as all of nature is, we are all divine beings defined by different aspects. And that is only so that we can communicate with each other. And this is what we've lost. We've lost our ability to communicate, both within ourselves, from mind to heart, and so without, from you to me and me to you. So when we're overwhelmed, let us come back into this heart space, find a way to be able to become aware of what's going on with the mind, and realize the mind is stressed. It's stressed out. It's receiving too much information. And bless it. Bless the water that's going through your brain. Bless the water that's moving through your body. I can't stress blessing water enough. And realize that when we do that, we help to clear the memory of the distress. We help to clear the memory of thousands of years of humans living here on this planet. And so I wanted to read this, and it looks like I'm running out of time, which is, we're always running out of time, because that's just a construct we've created in order to somehow know where we are. When did we get lost? Is what I want to know. When we lived on the land, we knew it was daytime, we knew it was nighttime, we knew exactly what to do. Again, because of all of this creation from the mind, we had to create time. It's not real. There is no time. There's only you and I in the present moment. This is what we do in the presence of light talk. I talk I know, I wish I could interact more, but I talk, and in that moment, I connect to your heart. I enter through the mind, but I want to enter your heart, and I want you to know how beautiful you are and how beloved you are. So this message came through a painting that a woman did on, we're doing like 40 days of, it's Good of the Whole, has Love Lives Here, 40 days of reconnection. And if you care to look that up, it's Good of the Whole is on Facebook, but their website, it's called Love Lives Here .today, and you can join us. Everything on it is free. You can donate if you wish, but there are people from all over the world, all different aspects, just sharing their love for the good of the whole. I have my pictures on there. People are doing live paintings. People are doing mantras. There's just so much, and every day you will get an email with a list of what the activities are. And so as I watched this woman do this painting, her name is Catherine Skaggs, and I had never met her or heard of her before seeing her do this. And watching her, and then when she posted the finished picture, these are the words that came through me. And so I just want you to take a deep breath as you hear these. My beloved children of light, as you dive into your passionate hearts, know that you are always swimming within mine. We are never separated in any moment of your journey. This radiance that you encounter before you, even when you close your eyes so as not to see, cannot ever be quelled or diminished, nor can it ever be overpowered by falsity. For I sit before you to remind all humanity of the beauty and magnificence each of you truly are, as well as the brilliance you are to emanate as we join our energetic expressions in unity. Call on me when you are weakened or fearful. Know that I am always within you and around you to soothe and comfort you or lift you up from all that you may encounter on behalf of the whole. Blessed ones, bathe and then don the colors before you, knowing that within your truth the rainbow shines, and that each of you are gathered here now to remember and bring forth your gifts of reconnection. I love you. I thank you. And I bless you. Find the stillness. It does exist. And it exists within you. And as much as you get overwhelmed in the days ahead as we go through this, know that our Divine Mother, represented by Mother Earth, by the Divine Feminine in each of us, loves us without conditions and has never not done so. Blessings be upon you of peace, light, and love, and may your week be less overwhelming, and may you find sparks of light as they reach you in stillness. Aho, I'll see you next week. I will post all of this, and I'll post on my blog the full transcript of what I wrote, which is much more than I expressed. And just stay tuned, stay calm, stay peaceful, and know that You're not alone going through whatever it is you're going through. We can do this. I love you.